Hello and welcome back to the series of mine, Morals and Values. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to anyone who's watched a single episode or is back watching another episode, or if this is your first episode, I hope you enjoy. Today is episode 5 of this series, and with each video I make, I'll probably always say this is a very important one, moral and value that I stuck by for a long time that actually put me in a place to be able to do this. So, welcome to episode 5. Stop running. First of all, like always, what do I mean by stop running? What does that entitle? What does it mean? I think the easiest way to explain this is using my own experience. My own experience of what I went through and what it means to me. For years and years, I would realise something was wrong. That I wasn't normal. That something was up. Not just in my physical health, having been ill, but more importantly, my mental health. I knew I had depression, knew I had anxiety, I knew I had panic attacks, I knew I had survivor's guilt. I knew so much. I knew I couldn't be normal, but I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want that to shape me. I didn't want to have to go through what I've been through and then the cancer to shape me who I was, who I am. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to. So when I knew I was getting bad and I was spiraling even worse than before and I knew something was up, instead of facing it, instead of facing the problem there and then, I ran. I ran from it. I ran because I didn't know what else to do. I ran because I thought that was the answer. I ran because I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to come to terms with it. I didn't want to understand it. I didn't want it to be reality. I didn't want it to be the case. So I ran and I ran and I ran. However, one thing I didn't understand or didn't know is you can carry on running and running and running. But just like everything in this world, in life, it catches up with you. So you think you escape it, and you might get some short-term relief, euphoric, and you might think it's gone, it just disappears. It's like, oh, wow. But it doesn't. It comes back. And when it comes back, it's worse. And you know what? You run again. Thinking that the outcome will be different this time, thinking that you've done something different, but you haven't. So you run. And it comes back again. And it's even worse. And it affects everything. Your life personally, relationships with your family, who you are. It takes a toll on everything, and it just gets worse and worse until you have to make a decision. A decision that you should never have to face, a decision you never want to have to make. You either get the help you need, you fix this, you stop running, or you do something you might regret for the rest of your life. Something you might regret for the rest of your life, however long that may be. And that's the reality of it. You can run and run and run. But running just puts off for a small amount of time. It doesn't make you better. It doesn't help you. It's a coward's way. And I did that time and time again until I had to make a decision. A decision I wish I made earlier. A decision I wish I never got it to. A way I wish I never had to do this. But I learned, and I'm forever grateful for it. So stop running. This leads into my first point. And this is the most simplest of things. It's just ask for help. Go and ask for help. And this is a tough one. It's hard. I wish From my own experience, it was as easy as just asking for help, as easy as just being like, guys, this is what's wrong, blah, 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 X, Y, Z, and I need help. But it's not. There's so much stigma, so much behind it. And even today, when you read things saying asking for help is okay, asking for help is more than okay. Asking for help when you need it is the bravest thing you can do. The bravest thing you can do as a person is admitting you need help, is reaching out for help, is realizing in yourself intrinsically that you need this help. It's the hardest thing to do because you don't want to admit what's wrong. You don't want to admit that something's going on inside. There's a stigma behind it that we should all just be living this life. We should be going from school to university into a full-time job. We should have kids, get married, whatever it may be, retire, and that's it, and that's life, and nothing else should go on. But it's wrong, it's false, it's fake. So much goes on in our lives, so much goes on within us. So asking for help is more than okay. Asking for help is the bravest thing anyone can do. Asking for help is the bravest thing you can do. Right now, today. And you soon realize when you ask for help, the people who love you and want to be around you and accept it. And you will realize that the people who aren't your friends, the ones that don't believe in you, who don't want to be there for you. And it's scary asking for help. It's so, so scary because you have to go over everything. You have to relive your past. You have to go through things that you thought you'd never have to go through, that you were running from all this time, that you don't want to face or admit, and you don't want to come to terms with, and you don't want to relive. And it's horrible. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's the greatest thing that you can do in the sense that it feels amazing, because it's awful. It really is awful, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's going to be pain. There's going to be heartache. There's going to be suffering. But it's when you come out the other side that it's so much better and you can be you. And that's why I say this, hand on heart, there's people out there for you. People who will listen to you, who want to help you. There's people who know that when you ask for help, you're doing it because you need it. And like I said, it's the bravest thing you can do. So ask for that help. Don't be scared. And if you need to reach out to me or a friend or someone else, just do it. Because I'll be here for you. And there's going to be hundreds of thousands of other people who will be there for you too. Don't ever think you can't ask for help. Because you can. Asking for help is the bravest thing you can do. When you've asked for help, and you've done that, it's the first step for this next one. These next two that go hand in hand. And it's take accountability, take responsibility. And this is part and parcel of asking for help. It's because you're taking accountability. But when you've asked for that help and you're getting the help you need and you're no longer afraid, or you're willing to be in discomfort, you're willing to be afraid, you're willing to go through everything that you've never wanted to go through, you can start taking accountability. You can take accountability for what's happened, with what's gone on in your life. You can take accountability from day one to where you are. And it's weird. It's instead of passing the blame onto other people, instead of blaming other things, instead of blaming external factors, you take accountability. You stop finding excuses. You stop finding reasons why this, and you take accountability, and you really come into actually, okay, this is because of this is because of this, and this is because of this. No more blaming other people and other things. You take that accountability, you take it on the chin, and it's horrible, it's hard, you don't want to, because you blame yourself, and all you do is blame yourself. But you have to take accountability for the life you've lived and what's gone on, whether it's good or bad. Where it's times in your life that you wish never happened, take accountability And from my own personal experience, taking accountability for the life I've lived was horrible, horrible, horrible. I was scared. I was so scared. I didn't think people would understand. I didn't understand it myself. So how would other people understand it? I was giving in. I was letting the cancer shape me. I was letting that be the reason why I am and who I am today in a negative way. Why I was always depressed. Why I was always scared. Why I had anxiety. Why I couldn't do anything. Why I couldn't live the life I want to live. And I just let it happen. And I'd always find reasons why I couldn't do something because of this and because of this. I wasn't taking accountability. It was just always excuse after excuse after excuse because I didn't want to. I didn't want it to be the reason why. I never did. But in life, you're dealt a set of cards. And it's how you use those cards to live your life. So by taking accountability, you're taking the first step at saying, yeah, these are the cards I've got. Now I've got to use them. Stop making excuses saying it's the dealer's fault or this person's fault and this. Stop blaming things for the way you are and who you are. Because when you can take accountability, you can take that responsibility in life. You can move forward. When you've taken that accountability, everything going forward is your responsibility. You're responsible for your own health, mental health, physical health. You're responsible for the life you're living. You're responsible for the person you become. You're responsible for all of it because you can be responsible for it, because you can take the accountability. You have a conscious choice to be the best person you can be, and you can do that. So by taking accountability, you take that responsibility. You no longer make these excuses. You're no longer afraid of what you've been through. You're no longer afraid of people judging you. You're no longer afraid of comparing yourself to other people. You're no longer afraid of what you've been through because you take responsibility. You take it on the chin. You understand it. You make sense of it. Whatever it may be, you're no longer scared. You're no longer afraid. You're no longer running away from it. You're enhancing it. You're enhancing who you are. You're taking what you've been through and making sure you're the best person you can be in multiple ways, from all my videos before, all the ways I've told you, all the ways I've explained how I do it, how you could do it. So take that accountability. Embrace it. As horrible and cringe as this is love your journey, love it. Learn to love it. Learn to make it the best person you can be today. Like I said before, this goes hand in hand with making mistakes and regrets and everything, prioritizing yourself. There's going to be regrets and mistakes and that accountability. There are. But when you take the accountability, it's when you learn then from it. It's you learn from these mistakes and they no longer become regrets. There's so much, it goes on and on. It's incredible when you learn to take accountability of everything that's happened in your life, whether it's in your control or not. You then can make this judgment going forward when things are in your control and out of your control. Whether you're panicking or having anxiety, whatever it may be, that's out of your control. But then you realise the things that you can take that are responsible. If you're feeling down, you learn to judge, okay, is this in my control? Is that out of my control? But what can I do to make it in my control so I can get through it and get past it and make sure it doesn't bring me down? You come up with all these tools, all these ways of looking at it. It's different for everyone. This is my way of doing it. All my videos I said before and what's still to come, but you'll find your way. Just take that leap of faith, ask for that help, and take responsibility. But boom. But everyone finds their way. Stop running. Ask for help. And then take that accountability. Having done those first three things, accept it. You've taken the accountability, you've asked for the help, and you've stopped running. Now it's time to accept it. It's time to embrace it. Make of it of what you will, but when you accept it, what you've been through, and not just accept it like I accept it yourself, when you're deep down, and this is a feeling of when people say, I always ask people, how do you know when you love someone? And they're just like, you just know. When the one's the one, you just know, and you can't change it. It's just, you know. It's the same with accepting. When you've accepting it, there's no way I'm going to tell you how you should feel or what you do. It's just, when you know you've accepted what's gone on, when you know, you know. There's no way to explain it. And it might be a thing of just doing all this work, maybe not seeing too much or a way to accept it and to feel like you've accepted it, but then one day you wake up where it's a month later, 2 months, 3 months, a whole year later from putting in this work, is you just accept it. And for me, that's what I had to do. For years and years and years, I would blame my whole life on my cancer. Everything I did from day to day, not just the big things in life, but just everything so small, from just getting out of bed and not getting out of bed, from not doing what I want to do, from not doing the washing or whatever it may be, and just feeling the way I am. I blame it on what I've been through because I couldn't accept it. I was this way because of my cancer. I was this because I didn't know what the chemotherapy did to me. I was this because my cancer did this. I didn't live a normal life. I didn't live the life I should have done. I should have gone to university, but I didn't. I'm this way. The way I am is because of my cancer, and I can't change that. And I could never accept it. I could never accept the severity of what I'd been through because I didn't want to. I didn't want to relive it, what I saw, what I went through. I didn't want to accept who I was. I didn't want to accept the person who I'd become and accept that I'd never be the person I thought I was. I could never accept it. I never wanted to accept it. I could take accountability for it, but it took so much more than just taking accountability to be able to accept it. Take the accountability, but when you take the accountability, you're just reliving it all, but accepting it is a whole different niche, a whole unique circumstance. But you've got to embrace it. You've got to accept it. You've got to come to terms with that's happened. That's done. You know what? That's happened to me. That's done. But now let's accept it. And I think when you accept it, it's just a relief. Each step you will find weight taken off your shoulders, but when it's accepted, it's indescribable really, but it's just this weight, huge weight lifted off your shoulders, like fully, and it just is a precious moment in your life where I'd say it's the first point where you realise, okay, this is my life, this is who I am, this is what I've been through, but I'm not going to let that shape me. I'm not going to let that make me who I am. I'm going to go live the life I want to live still, be the person I want to be, accept what I've been through. Yeah, cool, I've been through the worst, and it's all relative to who you are. Don't compare yourself to me. It's all relative to what you've been through, and it's so different for everyone, down to the minutest details. No one will ever know how you're feeling truly. Only you will ever know that. So it's down to the minutest details. It's all relative. But when you find that acceptance of what you've been through, when I finally accepted that, yeah, you know what, I had cancer twice and a stem cell transplant, and it messed up what I believed to be my teenage years, and it messed me up for years to go by, and it messed up what my life should have been, but I accepted it to a point where I wouldn't change it for the world now. It's made me who I am. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for it. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for it. I wouldn't have met the people I have met if it wasn't for it. I wouldn't be the way I am with my family. I wouldn't be able to love the way I love and treat the people that mean the most to me the way I do if it wasn't for it. And I've met so many amazing people and special people because of it. So accept it. You would have heard me say this already a few times in this episode, but throughout my other YouTube videos and the rest of this series. Your normal is what makes you unique. And your normal can change and will change. First of all, I hate the word normal. I hate the term normal. I hate what it stands for. Because what is normal? Everyone will say they're normal. You would heard me say, I wish I lived a normal life. I wish I was normal. I wish I just did what I should be doing because that's normal. But what really is normal? What does normal actually mean? Imagine if we were all normal. How boring would we be? We'd all be exactly the same. We would have nothing to separate all of us. We'd all be living these boring lives of just work and coming back and having nothing to share or be unique or whatever it may be. It'd be awful. We all have our own quirks, our own things that makes us amazing, which makes our normal unique. And you get to see them, not just in yourself, but when you meet someone, in your family, in a relationship. You always see it when people write things about their partner, the person they love. They love the smallest things about them, their niches, the way they smile, their laugh, how intelligent they are, how funny they are, witty, how they tell you they love you. Anything. And all those things that you think are normal, they're no longer normal. Because our normal is what makes us unique. I know I'm not normal. Whether it's been through what I've been through or not, I am not normal. I am the only me there is, the only Tom there is, the Tom that loves wholeheartedly and unconditionally, the Tom that has a purpose and wants to help people, the Tom who knows how to prioritize himself, the Tom who can have a laugh and a good time and knows what he wants to be doing, the Tom who gets sad and upset when he loses people he loves. And this is the Tom that I never thought would be the normal Tom. I wanted to be the Tom that just lived the normal life for years, but when I realised that normal is just the way of actually calling yourself unique, it changed. And it's what makes me unique. My normal is what makes me unique. And maybe I have an extreme case of what I've been through, because I knew I wasn't normal when I got cancer, and cancer again, and then the transplant, and then the mental health. Of course I knew I wasn't normal then, but I still wanted to be normal. I kept wanting to be normal and more normal and more normal than ever, and I compare myself to others, always constantly being blaming other reasons why. And you just realise that I'm so unique. I'm so different. But so are you. So are you who's watching this video. Really take a seat, sit down, write it out. Write your whole life out, whatever it may be, and within the first couple of sentences, you'll realise that you're so unique, that you're so different to everyone around you. You have similarities to people, and you find people that you connect with, but deep down inside, you know you're so unique. You know who you are, because you're being you. You can prioritise yourself, put yourself first. Doing all of this by accepting your life, by taking accountability, by asking for help, by stop running. You realise you're so unique. But also, just because your normal is your normal, it makes you unique, it doesn't mean it can't change. And it will change. Again, just like I said with all these videos and the way I look, my outlook on life, these morals and values can change, they'll adapt, and so will you. The older you get, the more life experience, the more things you go and do and experience in general. Relationships, family, careers, life, travel, helping others, you'll change, you'll adapt, you'll be dynamic. And your normal will constantly be changing, evolutionizing, where you're becoming better every day. Whether it's a big change or a small change, your normal will always be changing. It never sits in the same place. You'll never be the same person forever. Never. And just small things you do every day will change it. So there's normal that you think you have, which makes you unique, which you now know your normal is what makes you unique, and it's no normal is the same, no matter who you are. No normal will ever be the same. But you then realise that this normal is going to keep changing, this uniqueness about you is going to keep changing and adapting, and you're going to embrace it. And that's the thing. Instead of running from it, instead of being like, why am I changing? Why is this normal different? Embrace it. Embrace this change. Embrace this normal being you, because it's making you even more unique and unique to the person that you want to become and be. Like I said, I can sit here and I know just because, not just in myself that I've seen it, but in other people, that just because you may think that you're lost and you've disappeared, and you may look back in 6 months and be like, yeah, I've changed. I'm not the person I thought I was before. You can take this in two outlooks. If you're having a tough time and a hard time, it's hard and you think you've changed and you'll never be the same person you were before. But deep down, who you are is always going to be in there. The person you think's no longer there, that kid in you, will always be there. And there's people who love you and they all know that. They know who you are inside out more than you could ever know. And they'll be by your side and support you no matter what. No matter what's going on in your life, you'll always be that unique you. Even though you think that's changed and it's tough. But there'll be times where you're living an amazing life and you're really happy and you're doing all this stuff and it may feel alien to you and it may feel like I'm doing all this but it just feels wrong. But what you got to remember is you'll still have that you in you. That's always going to be the you that loves the family, the you that has that laugh, that giggle, that smile, the you that can love the way you want to love, the you who's you. And I learned that. I saw that in myself. That no matter what I go through now, no matter who I am, no matter what goes on, my normal, my uniqueness is so unique that I'll never lose that. And I see it in other people as well. I see it in the people I love. Because when you know someone, you see it, you know them. You know that they're so unique and that won't change. No matter how hard a time that you're going through or they're going through, no matter what. So this is my message to you, to tell you that you're normal. What you think is normal is actually unique. You are unique and normal doesn't exist. We're all so different. All so different. But just know that normal, that uniqueness, you'll always be in there, but it will adapt, it will change. And embrace it when it does. Embrace it when it is adapting and changing. Because it means you're moving forward, you're growing, you're becoming you. But you will still be in there. This last one that goes into it, I think it rounds it off perfectly. The whole stop running all the way through. This one is, the grass is greener where you water it. And I think it's perfect. For years and years, you've always heard the quote, the grass is green, always greener on the other side. And for some it might be. But in reality, the grass is always greener where you water it. And the only way you can water the grass where you are is if you stop running. Because if you carry on running, you'll never be able to water it. You'll never be able to take that step back and realise where you are. Another one, which I think is correct, is don't chase the butterfly because the butterfly will fly away. Build a garden and the butterfly will come to you. It's very similar to stop running. And for me, when I realised that the grass is greener where you water it, that if I put in the hard work, if I always water it, if I make sure it's as good as it can be, it will be greener, it will be better, it will grow better. And for me, that's something that epitomizes all of this. It epitomizes what it all means. That you are you are who you're supposed to be. You're not going to be able to run away from it, because it's you. You can't run away from yourself. And you need to understand that. You need to come to terms with that. And it's not easy. But when you realise that if you just water the grass, it'll be greener, rather than trying to chase and run to new grass. And then when you get to that new grass, you kill it. And then you do it again and again, and it gets worse and worse until you run out of grass. You run out of grass to kill. And I think it's an amazing way if you take one thing to look at it all. The grass is always greener where you water it. It's as simple as that. You are your own grass, so water it. You are you, so look after yourself. Prioritize yourself. Make yourself number one. And I think that's a nice, simple one, short one to end on. And I say it's as simple as that. It's obviously not as simple as that. I'm saying this from experience. I wish I knew all this when I was 15, when I was diagnosed. Again, when I was 17. Again, when I was 20 and tried to kill myself. And again, when I was 22. And it wasn't until I was 22, I'm 24 now, that I realised I have to do all this. And it took the best part of a year to, I say a year and a half to get to this point now. And I know I'm changing and adapting. But I know that if I constantly water the grass, if I'm constantly focusing on myself and putting myself first, that everything else can come into it makes sense. And I know that this grass is going to be greener if I keep on watering it. Water this grass and it will get better. So, this is my message to you. Stop running. Stop running away from everything in your life because you think it's the easiest thing to do. It's the best thing to do, but it's not. It's maybe the easiest way. It may be the easiest way out, but it's not. It's not. The bravest thing you can do is ask for that help. As hard as it may be, stop that running, ask for that help. Then you can take the accountability, and from that accountability, you take that responsibility. You can take accountability for the whole things that are gone in your life, and then you can take responsibility going forward. From that day forward, you accept it. You accept what you've been through. You accept who you are. You accept the person you are. You accept that you can become a better person. You realise that after doing all this, you realise that you're normal. You are so unique. You are the most unique person you'll ever be. That you aren't normal, because no one's normal. No one is normal. We are all so unique. And then you realise it will change. Your normal is going to change. You're going to adapt, but you're going to become even more unique and more unique. And then when you can do all this, when you realise that, you realise deep down that the grass is always greener where you water it. So, stop running.